What's going on there, everyone? Well, I was going through Fox News, seeing what some of the top stories of the day were, and I ran across this little gem. Biden tried to buy Putin's support for Iraq war with promises of oil money. Now, mainly I just want to highlight a few problems with Biden. Other than the obvious, health issues, possible mental health issues, the guy, it seems like he's going through dementia or something. But I don't want to be an ageist. And let's just get into this story real quick. Joe Biden sought out Russian President Vladimir Putin before the 2003 invasion of Iraq to propose a deal in which Russia would be giving the oil profits from the war if they entered alongside the United States. That's real interesting. I could have swore that the Democrats just were so scared and hated Russia so bad. Interesting. Biden told of his attempt at creative diplomacy during a July 2004 event at the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library. Biden, then the ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, was joined on stage by former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright for a discussion on foreign policy in the upcoming presidential election. One of Biden's main criticisms of former President George W. Bush during the event was his failure to unite nations of the world in a common cause after September 11, 2001 terror attacks. Among the nations Biden had an engagement plan for was Putin's Russia. Biden said during the event that he, along with a Republican senator he chose not to name. Now, see, when they say this goes with just about anything. It's kind of my opinion, but it's also kind of factually relevant. If you notice, when the legacy media is propping up either a fake news story or something that's just completely unfounded, they say, like, sources tell us. That's the same thing as going on to say he chose not to name a Republican senator. Why? Is it... Why wouldn't you name him? If you didn't see yourself as doing anything wrong, if nothing was bad was happening, why wouldn't you name him? That's because I don't think there was a Republican senator working with him. But asking for a meeting with Putin and proposed a deal where all proceeds from seized Iraqi oil would initially go to cash-strapped Russia. Biden viewed it as an offer Putin wouldn't be able to refuse and was disappointed the Bush administration did not consider it. Isn't that real interesting? Like, this is a short article. Very short article. But it just shows more of the inconsistencies with the Democratic Party, and how they overreact whenever the Republicans do anything that involves Russia, but when they're in power, or when they feel like they have an edge of some sort, they have no problem trying to work with Russia at all. Which I'm not against working with Russia, but there's a lot of things that would need to happen, especially when it comes to cybersecurity and all this. Unfortunately, we just can't trust Russia. That's the sad truth of it, it seems. But this is just one more thing. This is just one more thing on top of many things, not even counting his gaffes and all that. Let's jump over here, where Biden claimed that, Biden claimed that Obama had not a single whisper of scandals. Well, the Washington Examiner points out some. Just a few, the scandalous less presidency of Obama. Operation Fast and Furious, which we still are looking for answers on. Benghazi, which we're still looking for answers on. The IRS targeting of conservative 501 3 nonprofits, ignoring Hezbollah drug running, trading 5 Taliban prisoners for Army deserter Sergeant Bergdahl, a secret VA Veterans Association waiting list, mass domestic spying by the NSA, DOJ investigations of journalists, mocking Mitt Romney for sounding the alarm on Russia, which to me is not really a scandal, calling ISIS the JV team, the Iran deal, possible FISA abuse at the DOJ and FBI. And that was the most recent one. Yeah, the fact that they were, the Obama administration, Obama and Biden, were spying on President Trump's campaign, election campaign, that's also a big, big scandal. Then we go on, what did Obama do with Russia? Obama tells Russia's Medvedev, more flexibility after the election. A hot microphone picked it up. Yeah. He's sitting here telling the president of Russia, once I'm reelected, then I'll have some more flexibility. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. So, the Democrats are allowed to work with Russia, and conservatives, for some ungodknown reason, are not allowed to talk to them at all, apparently. I mean, if we even, so much as, if Trump shakes Vladimir Putin's hand, the media goes insane. Insane. I mean, look how long they pushed a fake Russian collusion narrative. And then another good one. One that is all Joe Biden. The 2020 Ukrainian nightmare. And this is the probe that really should make people wonder about Joe Biden, because he got a top prosecutor in the Ukraine fired. It was blackmailing or extorting kind of the Ukraine with this situation. I don't want to get too involved in it, but it involved Hunter Biden, Biden's son. Prosecutors were investigating over some matter, and Biden said, we're going to pull $1 billion of investment and this, that, and the other unless that prosecutor's fired. You know, a prosecutor who is doing his legit job. So what happens? Prosecutor got fired, and the Ukraine got that money. So when it comes to scandal, and when it comes to someone who you just can't trust, seems like Joe Biden's on the top of the list. Especially with his, his failing mental state. This guy would be dangerous for you. I mean, it would be very dangerous to have him as president of the United States at this time. I mean, he's a failed candidate. The guy's already ran, I think twice for president, and he failed each time. I don't know why the Democrats are even propping him up. They're propping him up as a moderate also, but he's going the way of almost all the Democrats on the big stage. They run as a moderate, this, that, and the other, but you see by their own words through these debates and through little appearances they make that are all on TV, that even someone like Biden, who claims and is supposed to be moderate, is pandering to the far left with their policies. You know, instead of just sitting there and holding the line saying, no, we are moderate, we're going to do it in the moderate fashion, or we might be able to get some bipartisanship and some actual working government. No, I'm going to start pandering to the far left because they're the vocal minority. They're the loud ones. They're the ones that make themselves known. Come on, people. This is this is my plea to the moderates and centrist Democrats. Y'all need to speak up for your party, or you're going to lose your party. I say stuff like this all the time. It's because I worry. You know, I don't want it just to be, I know it sounds strange, but I don't want just a straight up conservative or just a straight up Democrat thing. I like bipartisanship. When two opposing sides get together and hash stuff out, they usually come up with something rather decent. And unless it goes to a spending bill, because then they're all just spin, spin, spin. We have a golden fountain of taxpayer money. Just constantly refills itself. It's amazing. Yeah. That's something we need to fix. But yeah, I just wanted to point out some of the shenanigans in the Joe Biden world. Some of the shenanigans and reasons, good reasons why he would be awful for the presidency of the United States. It would bring probably corruption to a level we've never seen and probably wouldn't see because they'd hide it all from us because him and Obama's administration were real good at trying to cover everything up. Sad. Talk about transparency. With this guy, we won't have any. We won't have any. And the media is going to have his back. That's the scary thing. Another thing we could put on top of all this, when it comes to the Democrats, they're going to have no accountability. Other than us Republicans, which no one's going to listen to because they're going to be like, oh, you're just mad. No. Sorry, I don't get mad when my guy doesn't win. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I'm used to not winning. Not that big of a deal to me. But what is a big deal is how I feel the media would work with the Democratic Party to keep everything so hush-hush to where we wouldn't know. And then they'd use the guise of, it's a world of difference now. Everything's back to normal. Government's back to normal. Trump did what he said he was going to do. He came in here and he shook up the swamp. And he's attempting still to try to clean it out every day. We just got rid of Bolton, a warmonger that had no business being in Trump's ear, trying to get him to go into all these foreign wars and stuff. So, just saying, people. Just saying. Really look on these people. Look at these Democratic nominees and look at their past. And look at how they are now, especially when it comes to Biden. Biden's losing his mind. And he's been losing his mind for a while. And he feels he's above the law, and he's above all of us. He considers himself an elitist. He'd fall right in line with all the globalist scum. But I'd love to hear your comments. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you on the flip side.